And we're back. We've been away for a bit, but we're definitely back. This is episode 17. We're doing a post-fight chat on UFC 227. And my name is Chris, and that's handsome Dan Park down at the bottom there. How have you been, man?
Good, thanks, bud.
That's always good to know. So what do you think of this card, man? I must say for a pretty lackluster card, there were some pretty exciting moments, to say the very least.
I loved it. I loved it. I snoozed off. I started watching other prelims, but I snoozed off. I came back for the Cobb Swanson fight because I love Cobb Swanson, and these three fights were just amazing. Cobb, DJ, TJ, must watch, and I'm glad I watched. It was great. What do you think it was?
Man, yeah, man, I really enjoyed the card. I watched bits and pieces from the prelims because I woke up a little bit too late. I just watched bits and pieces, but I watched the Pedro Munoz and the Brett Johns fight, and goddamn, man, that was a good fight. Like it was Brett Johns. He's got some serious balls. He got leg kicked to death. Like it was ridiculous, man. He kept on getting leg kicked and leg kicked, kept on getting dropped with leg kicks. The doctor actually came in between rounds to check on his legs. He's like, "All right, can you do a squat? If you can't do a squat, we're gonna stop the fight." So you see Brett Johns trying to do a squat, and his face is full like cringing because it obviously hurt so much. But he did it, so he's like, "Oh well, he can squat, so he can fight." Apparently, them be the rules now. But yeah, it was a great fight, man. Because Pedro Munoz, because he's more of a grappler, like he's a pretty
Yeah.
decent level black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he showed really good striking, like fantastic striking. He was definitely the better striker in the fight. And Brett Johns tried to take the fight to the ground. Every time he did, he almost got guillotined and swept over. So he lost a pretty one-sided decision. But the scorecards were weird. The scorecards read 30-26, 29-28, and 29-27. It was very
Mhm.
confusing scorecards. On all of the scorecards, Pedro Munoz won, but yeah, it was a fun fight. So if
Actually,
you got time, go back and watch it.
mm, speaking of fun fights, I actually watched the Thiago Santos versus Kevin Holland fight. Did you
Yes,
manage to watch that?
yes. I almost forgot to. Yeah, I was going to mention that one. There you go on.
I was really impressed with Kevin Holland. Although he did get, beaten decisively, I was very, very impressed.
Yeah, same. He was talking a lot of shit during the fight. Thiago Santos was just like laughing, like, "Is this kid for real? I'm beating his ass," and he just keeps on talking shit.
Mm.
He took that Kevin Holland took that fight on 2 weeks' notice, and he was still able to go 3 rounds and did a jumping omoplata in the first round. Did you see that?
Tried,
He
tried, tried.
tried, attempted a
Yeah,
jumping omoplata, which is pretty
yeah.
cool.
It's cool, but he's an idiot for doing it. Come on, like no one with any good
He was he was
fight
getting
IQ would
he
actually
was
do it.
getting taken down anyway, so it's just one of those things in the middle of a takedown, just a Hail Mary. It's better than getting taken down just into full guard. At least give the guy a bit of a
True,
scare. Just make him think,
true,
okay,
true.
I can't mess around in this guy's guard. But yeah, it was fun. That was a great fight. Thiago Santos obviously beat him down, which he used a lot of wrestling to beat him, which was kind of odd. It
Mm-hmm.
seemed when they're on the feet, Kevin Holland was the one getting the better of a lot of the exchanges. Just I don't know. I can't
I wouldn't say so. It's because
more.
Tiago got tired. That's why. He got tired from,
Mm,
beating his ass.
yeah, you can only punch someone in the face so much, I guess. Yeah, early on, Thiago Santos was landing the hardest shots, but then later on,
Yeah,
he obviously tied out. But Kevin Holland tied out big time as well.
yeah, he
At the end,
did, but he's still in it. He's still in it.
it was a good fight. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he showed a lot of heart. I was very impressed. I'm definitely gonna want, keep my eye out on Kevin.
Yeah,
Should
yeah,
probably
definitely.
drop down to welterweight or like,
Yeah, he's very skinny.
bulk up. Yeah,
I don't know how tall he was, but he looked pretty tall. But yeah, very skinny.
yeah, but he looked like a size smaller than Santos.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll move on to my most favorite fight of the night, which was the women's bantamweight fight. JJ Aldridge. I'm kidding. I didn't watch this fight at all. This is the fight that I
Yeah,
used to go have a meal, and then I came back
that's
for
a fun.
the
Yes.
Moicano and Cub Swanson fight.
Yeah, I did the same thing. That when I was telling you I had a snooze, I was watching it. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not watching this shit.
Yeah, I tried,
I
and I'm
moved
like,
on.
I really don't care. I'm sorry, girls. I just don't care. Watching one chick that's supposed to be a striker, and she's standing there with her head all the way up in the sky and her hands all the way down by her hips, throwing punches. And I'm like, yeah, I'm out. I'm out. Sorry.
Mm. Cub Swanson loses. Yeah, and
Not a good loss, man.
Not a
It's
good loss at all. To
a,
a
a, a,
stiff jab.
yeah, he got
Fucking
knocked down with a stiff jab. What? That's like
yeah.
that was almost like Anderson. Not really, but it was similar to Anderson Silva and Forrest Griffin when the jab is what knocked him out.
Mm.
It was
Cub Swanson didn't get knocked out, but
no
he
knocked
got
down.
knocked down.
Yeah, which is what happened to Forrest Griffin, and then the fight was finished with strikes on the ground.
Mm.
Only this was finished with a submission. But yeah, Moicano,
That,
man,
that
he's legit. You can't sleep on
kind of
that guy
is
anymore.
mm. He is, and I really like that he showed a lot of respect to Cub. A bit too much maybe, but he showed a lot of respect to Cub, which was nice. Because
Oh yeah, it got a bit
Cub's
awkward. It
very
did get a bit awkward when he's like standing there at his toes, bowing.
yeah.
It's like, all right, all right, all right, it's enough, it's enough. Oh shit, okay, he's still going.
I'd love to see Mosiano against the top five. I really would. Uh,
We're going to. His next fight's gonna have to be high. I haven't looked at the rankings yet. Just a sec. Let me have a look at it. Yeah, UFC rankings. Oh, I typed in UFD rankings. I wonder what UFD is.
mhm. Ooh, featherweight. Who's a good fight for him? A featherweight.
Still loading. Jeez, internet super slow. Okay, let's look at featherweight. So we have Ortega. Oh, what the fuck happened then? We have
Ortega's
Ortega,
gonna fight
Aldo,
champ
Edgar, and then
Frank.
Moicano. Hell, even if he fights Mendez, that'd be a fun fight.
Yeah, that's a fun fight, actually.
I think he,
That's,
I think he might take it against Mendez as well. Actually,
that's a
I
good
don't know.
fight.
It's a good test because I haven't seen him against a solid wrestler. I don't think
Mm,
so, anyways. Have a look.
mm,
Who have I seen him fight? He beat the shit out of Calvin Cater.
mm,
Yeah, no. I reckon Mendez. It's always good
mm.
seeing these really good strikers against wrestlers because you got to test them at some point.
Yeah,
You might want to take your hands away from your face. Can't see you.
okay. I'm actually interested in the Brian Ortega versus Max Holloway fight. And if Brian Ortega wins that, I don't think it's because I don't know, I just don't rate the guy. He hasn't impressed me. He really hasn't.
Ortega,
Yeah,
how's he not impressed you?
uh, he just seemed very average. He hasn't impressed me at all. Nothing
Well,
of him from what I've seen
it
screams
seems
extraordinary.
it seems as though he gets his ass kicked and then comes back from an ass whooping. That's how the majority of his fights seem to go. Like
Yeah.
I've watched all of his fights since Diego Brandao. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the others. I didn't see his Thiago Tavares fight, but I saw the Brandao fight, and it seemed as though he was getting beat. And then Brandao got tired, took him down, got triangled straight away.
Mm,
Clay Guida beat him up standing. If Clay Guida's beating you on the feet, not so
yes.
good. But then he ended up scoring a big knee, knocking Clay Guida out, which was it was a crazy moment. It annoyed me. It lost me a $5 bet, so I was very upset. Um, Against Moicano, Moicano was beating him up on the feet because the thing about Ortega, he's got great jiu-jitsu, but he doesn't have any takedowns. So it wasn't until
Hmm.
Moicano decides to take him down that he got choked. Then Cub
Yes.
Swanson, once again, beating him up on the feet, and then Cub kept on making silly mistakes of getting in the clinch. First round, he got caught in the clinch, and then that's where Ortega was able to cinch in at the. Was it an anaconda in the first round? I think it was an anaconda. But either way, a front choke of some sort, like a guillotine.
Mm,
And he was saved by the bell. And then he made the same mistake again of clinching up with him when that's where he kept on getting that submission from, and he got submitted in the second round. And in Frankie Edgar,
mm,
it was a short fight, but Frankie Edgar was getting the best of the stand up until he got caught with that was it the uppercut or an elbow and then finished with an uppercut, something like
yeah, an
that.
elbow.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I understand what
Aside
you
from the
mean.
Frankie,
I
I
see a
agree with
point.
you.
I see a point.
Mm, yeah. And yeah,
Yes.
I think. Sorry, go on.
Yes. With Cub Swanson. So where does he go from this point on?
Just fun fights. The guy's got a good contract, 100 grand American dollars every, for a fight.
Mm.
Just let him enjoy. He's 34, going to be 35. At that age, at a featherweight, he's pretty much way over the hill.
Yeah. I
But
reckon.
the guy is just very entertaining, and I still will keep on watching him. So just put him up against fun fights.
Yeah, like put him up against Ricardo Lamas. I doubt
Mm,
they probably won't finish each other. Just probably be a fun decision win or even loss. I
mm,
don't know, but Yeah, he can't take too many losses though. He may be on a new contract, but the UFC still cuts people despite the fact they're on a contract. If you get 4 losses in a row, there's chances are you're probably gonna get cut.
Hmm.
Anyway, so where do you think he goes from there? Like other than just any fun matchup, do you have any names or you don't really care?
Let's take a look. I think Ricardo Lamas is a good one. Both coming off losses, I think, and yeah, might as well.
Hmm, fair enough. All right, let's move on to. Actually, you know what? We'll skip the co-main. We'll finish on the co-main. We'll go to the main event, and we'll talk about TJ Dillashaw versus Cody Garbrandt because I feel like we've got more to say about the co-main than we would say about the main. Plus, they kind of interact. So I'll let you start off with your thoughts on that.
I love TJ. I love TJ. I told you guys TJ is gonna finish him. I love TJ. I love his fighting style. If I had to choose one person who I could copy all their skill sets and then put into mine, it would be TJ Dillashaw. And I'm talking about the history of MMA
Yeah,
because he's just so dynamic. It's so pleasing to watch. It's beautiful. I love the man, and I have a huge boner for him. And yeah,
I don't blame you, man.
TJ Dillashaw.
I don't blame you. TJ is sexy as hell. Like,
Mm.
even though I picked Cody for that fight, and I felt like I had good reason for picking Cody, I was wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I love TJ. TJ is always fun. Uh, he's always fun to watch. He's always just got this. He's got a really odd style, but a very finishing style. It's like he's always out there going for the finish, and his boxing looks so much better than it's looked in any other fight. Like he threw less kicks than Cody in this fight, and he like the fact that he recognized the fact that every time Cody throws that right hand, he drops his left. But you notice like there's this highlight where you see them both. They throw 3 right hands in a row. Every
Yes.
time Cody throws a right hand, TJ's got that left hand up, set like blocking him from that punch. But every time Cody throws it, his left hand's all the way down, and TJ landed 3 right hands in a row. And that third right hand, it just knocked Cody senseless, man. It was bad,
Yes.
and it was because he just wasn't putting his hands up, and it's just a cool thing for him to notice. And yeah, that's what won him the fight. His boxing won him the fight. It wasn't his kicks. His boxing
Mm.
won him the fight, and he showed fantastic boxing. And yeah, it was great. It was fantastic.
Completely agree. And when you watch Cody throw that right hand, that finishing sequence, this is how he does it. He goes bang, brings it down, and starts loading up. So do you see how I'm
Yeah.
loading up? So every single shot is a knockout shot,
Hmm.
right? This is a bang. TJ recognizes this, and how TJ shoots is he just throws it. Do you watch? Just throws it. But as he does throw, look at my head. Look at my head. His head comes offline. So what I mean by this is, do you see this is in line? Cody is here. It's all in line. Do you see how his head is all in line?
Mhm.
Stays the same. TJ, when he throws it, bang. Do you see how it went off the line? I'm not in a straight angle anymore. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's a lot safer to just and come offline instead of how Cody was loading up, loading up. And like you're saying, they both threw 3 right-handers, and TJ landed every single time, which was insane.
Yeah. It was sexy, man. It was.
It
Oh god.
was, but it also shows a lack of maybe fight IQ or like game planning from Cody's camp.
Yeah. Well, Cody didn't have his head coach in that camp, which
Really? What
is kind of
happened?
annoying. You know Justin Buchholz?
Yeah.
It seems as though Uriah is having another tiff with another coach, so that's another coach that's
Oh, did
gone.
they kick him out?
Either they kicked him out, or I know Buckholz was trying to get back into like start up his MMA career again, like his fighting career. So I don't
Oh,
know if
okay.
he wanted to fight, and that kind of interrupted his coaching. So I don't know the full story, so I'm not going to comment on it too much. But I know that he
Yeah.
wasn't there. So
It'd be
that
a dick move if the coach decides, you know what, I'm restarting my fighting career and, I'm not coaching you anymore. But as you said, we don't know the story. It might have been, TJ kicked him. No, I mean, not TJ, Uriah kicked him. Like, you don't know.
yeah, you don't know, but yeah. So he didn't have his coach there, but Cody looked good. Cody he didn't look. Because in the first fight,
No,
I
he
thought,
didn't.
no, he did.
The only time.
I
Yeah, go
mean,
on.
he didn't look as slow as he did in the first one, and he was moving a lot more in this one. In the first fight, he was very stagnant for the majority of the fight, and that's how he ended up catching TJ because TJ came into that fight expecting Cody to be the aggressor, but Cody wasn't
Mm.
aggressive in that first round, and that's how he caught him because Cody was the one that initiated the action, and that's when Cody got caught. And TJ got caught in the final 10 seconds of the first round. In this one, Cody was being the aggressor. He was being his normal aggressive fighting style self, and then that was his actual downfall. Him being a better version of
Yes.
himself was his downfall, or not a better version, but being himself, fighting as
Yes,
he always
I
does.
agree. I completely agree. Because if you watch when the fight started out, I get where you're coming from now. He was throwing kicks. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I haven't really seen him do that much. And then he threw a straight, which was landing and
Mm.
actually knocked down TJ. So I'm like, okay, that's good. That's interesting. But if you watch a lot of times and a lot of Cody's finishes, it's a lot of it is bang hooks and then loads up on the hook and bang.
Yeah,
And as pretty much as you said, because he went back to how he generally fights, uh, TJ just knows him too well, and he knew that that right hand's coming and countered it 3 times.
yeah. Plus, TJ is such a good counter striker. He's not the type of guy that you want to be aggressive against. Is like people be any aggressive fighter he excels against. That's why he struggles so much against Cruz because Cruz isn't he's not a forward like he's not an aggressive fighter. He's more of a defensive fighter,
Yes,
so that's why TJ struggles more against a guy like Cruz than he does against a guy like Cody.
yes, yes. Because if you look at his fight against Cruz, he was coming in all the time. He was being the aggressor, like you were saying. He was initiating the fight, which allowed Cruz to move to the side and smack him, then move to
Mm,
the side again and smack him.
yeah.
And yeah,
I,
I
I
get where you're coming from.
I also feel although the loss is kind of irrelevant at this point, but that TJ's lost to Dodson because we were talking previously about Dodson and how even though his highlight reel looks really fun, if you watch
Yeah.
his fights, they're so boring up until that highlight reel finish because he's a counter striker. He doesn't do
Hmm.
anything until the guy that he's fighting decides to come forward. And I feel
Gotcha.
like that's also why he beat TJ in that fight because he's a counter striker. So it's two counter strikers going against each other. The first one to strike is the one's going to get hit. Not all the time, but that's kind of how that works, especially with TJ. And that's how it worked I've already said it, but in TJ's first fight with Cody in the first round.
I get where you're coming from. You mean Dodson was just waiting, 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 and then just, bursts in for
Well, yeah,
strike and
he waited for TJ to initiate the action, and then he countered TJ, and that's how he beat TJ in that fight. Although that fight was years ago, it's fairly irrelevant, but it just shows that the people that beat TJ are the counter strikers. The aggressive
Hmm.
ones, they don't normally beat TJ, and that's why TJ ended up knocking out Cody in the second round in their first fight because Cody's like, oh shit, I can win this if I just come forward and I land that right hand, I can win this, and then he did it, and it worked out poorly for him.
Yes. Like you were saying to me about Cub, what's next for Cody?
Well,
He's not
if he's
he's
weighing the
not getting
same as
title shot
Demetrius
soon.
Johnson, like he's gonna have to go down to flyweight if he ever wants another title shot. He's only 26, so he's got enough time to reinvent himself in another weight class, or he's 27. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah. But yeah, as long as TJ's champ, he's done.
Yeah, no, he's not getting another title shot. He's been knocked out twice by the champ. You're not getting another title shot. He shouldn't have got a rematch straight away in the first place.
Mm.
As much fun as they are to watch, even though it's always Cody getting knocked out, their fights are always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that rematch that should have been built up in another year or 2 years time. It shouldn't have been an immediate rematch. Cody should have gone off, got another win against someone else, and then built his way back up to that fight with TJ. It would have made the
Mm.
fight twice as big.
I don't think he should reinvent himself in another weight class. I think he should stay in his weight class. You're right. He's young, so he can just bring around, 3, 4 wins. And by then, TJ Dillashaw is 31 years old at bantamweight.
Yeah.
That's kind of, you're getting there.
Mm.
So I
T-
don't see TJ being champ for another 4 years.
yeah. Yeah. Potentially. Yeah. He could always just wait him out.
Mm.
Why not? If he that's definitely another option. But then if TJ's an absolute freak and is able to stay around for a little bit longer, and then Cody can't get that title shot. Although if he does decide to go down and win the title there, that could be what propels him to another title shot against TJ.
True, true. That is true.
It might not be, but it's an idea.
I have Cody losing against Cejudo.
Fair enough.
And the reason why I say that is because if you look a lot of Cody's exchanges where he finishes guys, it's close range. It's a hook, always. Very close range. And close range is a great for a wrestler to do what?
So?
Close range. When you're in close, when you're clinching with an Olympic gold medalist, what's going to happen?
He's going to strike with you a lot. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah, you're pretty big on Cejudo though. I think I don't think Cejudo's wrestling is what won him his fight against Demetrius Johnson.
Oh, it was 100% his wrestling. It was so good to see.
You can't cut me off, man. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Go on.
All right, so yeah, sure, his wrestling is part of what won him the fight. But if wrestling was all that won him the fight, that would have won in the first fight. What won in this fight was the fact that he was patient. He played such a patient game. Those first 2 rounds, he just allowed his legs to get chopped up. He didn't really do too much. He was kind of just waiting for his moment. I don't think he shot for a takedown once in the first 2 rounds. And then as the fight went on and he started timing that leg kick, he started landing shots over the top of the leg kick. And then as he started landing shots over the top of the leg kick, Demetrius Johnson started throwing less leg kicks, started trying to strike with him, and that's when Demetrius Johnson started getting taken down. And it was just that patience of waiting to see what Demetrius Johnson's game was going to be for Cejudo to kind of analyze it and adjust, and then use that to win the fight.
Got you. I get where you're coming from, and I agree. It's not just wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling was definitely a big part.
It was, the wrestling was the big part that gave him and allowed him to win the fight. Because wasn't it the second round, and correct me if I'm wrong, when he took TJ down and held him for 2 minutes, last 2 minutes? DJ, sorry.
No, that would have been the third round. Cause,
are you sure? Because Cejudo won the second round. He lost the third.
Oh, did he? I thought DJ won the first and second, and then... Man, I gotta watch the fight again.
DJ,
this is why I can't do it a week after watching the fights, because I haven't watched the fights once since. My memory's not that good.
DJ won first and third on my scorecards. He won first and third, and Cejudo won second and fourth. So 5th round it was 2-2.
I'm just seeing if I can look it up, because I'm curious now, because I can't really comment on it unless I can actually see it.
But Cejudo really impressed me. I was looking at it, and he really, really impressed me, especially he had a beautiful, so when you have a over-under, what over and under is imagine if you have someone on top of you, in front of you, one hand is underhooked under, and one hand is overhooked over the other person's over-under. And this is a beautiful one, and you rarely see this being done in MMA, and I don't even bother. They teach us in wrestling school, but I don't even bother doing it aside from drills because I've never seen anyone do it aside from Cejudo, where he just brings us up to get to the guy's back. I'll need to show you what I mean. I wish I had one of those fake dummies. It was just beautiful to watch. Let me explain. Ooh. Bang, bang. Imagine, the guy's heads here, facing each other, 50-50. He has the underhook, overhook. He pushes over, bang. So the other's arm gets flinged forward, and then he straight away, bang. And behind them. So you have their back. And you can finish the takedown. It was just beautiful to see. I looked at that and I'm like, holy fuck. There's a huge difference between me and him, obviously. But it's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, no, his wrestling was spot on. You could see that there's levels to that shit.
Yes,
There are
yes.
definitely levels to that fucking wrestling, man. Because even though like guys like TJ, they've done like collegiate wrestling. You got Cody, he's done collegiate wrestling. I'm sure Demetrius did some form of wrestling.
Mm,
And like all these guys, they've done wrestling and they use wrestling sometimes, but they never do stuff like that. Just the way that they're able to like shift someone's body weight standing up,
mm,
it's just so different. It's different to just shooting him for a double leg, taking them off balance, and putting them on their back. It's
yes,
completely different, and it's
100%.
really fun to watch. That fight
Mm,
got fight of the night, which
mm.
fairly well deserved.
Should
But
very well deserved.
I thought Pedro Munoz and Brett John should have got it. But this fight, anyways, it's kind of reminiscent of the John Jones and Gustafsson fight in the way that you had such a dominant champion and a guy that really shouldn't be able to put up a good fight against us, especially losing the first fight in the first round. And the fight was just so close. It
Mm.
was just such a close fight.
It was such a good fight. And did you see when Cejudo did the takedown, and then DJ just does this weird things to get out and like wraps around him and then gets to his back. It was so beautiful to watch.
Yeah, there was so many just absolutely crazy scrambles. And Demetrius Johnson on his
Yes.
back, man, he was always looking for a way up. With a guy like Cejudo on top of you, like I've
Yes.
had strong wrestlers on top of me holding me down before.
Hmm.
They suffocate you. You can't
Yes.
move. If a wrestler wants you on your back, especially one of Cejudo's level,
Mm.
you shouldn't be moving. By all
Hmm.
intended purposes, like I know I wouldn't be moving. I would assume
Mm.
if someone that was because you assume Cejudo on the day, how much was he weighing more than Demetrius Johnson?
Not that much.
Oh, really? So
I
they
would
weighed in
assume a
similar.
lot more.
Okay, yeah, you would have assumed
He
so.
looked a size bigger though.
Yeah, he had these.
He looked a size bigger.
He has big legs. He has a big like that big triangle torso.
Yeah, his quads. I was looking at him. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, and the way he had that,
Wow.
like he had the cross face on top. That was it. The cross? Did he have the cross face? I'm pretty sure he had the cross face. But like, if a
Mm.
wrestler has that on top of you, you're not moving, man. Just the way they're able to push their hips down, put their shoulder into your jaw. You can't move. The way to escape from the bottom is you wanna hip out and get your body facing towards them, so that you can work on an underhook if you're in half guard, or you want to in guard. You kind of want to do similar things, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's so hard against a guy at that level. And Demetrius Johnson, despite the fact that he doesn't have that level of wrestling or that level of grappling, he was still able to
Mm.
get out of those positions a lot of the time. And in that final 10 seconds, you could see Demetrius like, oh, this is a pretty close round. I need to do something. And he went like absolutely ham on Cejudo. And Cejudo did the same thing back. He's like, oh, I'm not backing down, man.
Yes, that was nice.
It was so good. So yeah,
Uh,
that was a really good fight, and it was close, man. Like I didn't think it was controversial in the fact that I didn't think there was anyone being robbed. If it went either way, I wasn't gonna be like,
yes,
oh, that person got robbed. It was like shit. I don't. It could be a draw for all I know. That was such a that
yes.
final round was so close. I didn't know who won it.
I agree. I agree. I'm the same. I completely agree.
Anyways,
What's
so
next?
well,
Hmm.
Cejudo wants to move up. I know you want to see that. Personally, I don't.
Yes.
I don't want to. Okay, I'll just quickly say my part. The reason I don't want to see it isn't because I'm like, oh, it'll be a shit fight or this or that. I don't want to see any more divisions getting held up, despite the fact they've got contenders. There are contenders there. Maybe flyweight's a little less like deep, but bantamweight, you've got so many guys in the waiting for a title shot. You've got Cruz, who he's already beat TJ, so that's a good rematch to have. You got a Sunsao. There's a 1-1 record between TJ and a Sunsao. Then you've got uh, who's that? Marlon Moraes, who he's coming off two like crazy knockouts. So you got three guys sitting there in the waiting. You don't want them fighting each other and then knocking off contenders. You want them going up. They're in that spot where they've won enough fights to fight for the title. Put them up against
Mm.
TJ. Don't have
Hmm.
don't have TJ fighting a flyweight and then you're not going to have any contenders actually fighting for the title up until like what this time next year, and then we're going to have another three interim championships at bantamweight and flyweight.
That's true. That's true. I agree with you in terms of legitimacy, in terms of like what's fair for other fighters. Yes, uh, rightfully, Aslan Shao should get the next title shot because he does have a win over Moraes.
Hmm.
However, just out of what will give pure entertainment, I'd like to see Moraes versus TJ. Maybe, Cruz. What I would really like to see, though, putting that in mind, is I would like to see Cejudo versus TJ because
Okay.
I think that's a winnable fight for Cejudo. I really do. And if Cejudo, you're right, it will hold out this division. If Cejudo wins that while Demetrius Johnson is waiting, this 100% will hold up the flyweight division since there is a new champ. The new champ lost to Joseph Benavidez. So there's a lot of matchups, to be done in the flyweight. In bantamweight, the champ DJ Dillashaw has great fights with, a rematch with Cruz to solidify his name as the greatest bantamweight or fighting Moraes. However, for pure entertainment value, and fuck everyone else, Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw. Cejudo wins that. If he wins that, he fights Demetrius Johnson at flyweight. Demetrius Johnson wins that. Then Demetrius Johnson goes and fights him at bantamweight. And you'd have both divisions locked up for at least a year or two.
Oh god.
I would like to see.
That sounds like a horrible plan. I hate it. I hate it so much. It
Oh,
makes me sick. I don't want to see. One thing I never want to see ever again is Demetrius Johnson going back up to bantamweight. I don't care if he's fighting a flyweight at bantamweight. He struggles with bigger guys. His style doesn't match up well against guys that are bigger than him. He showed that when he fought
Dominic.
Cruz. Cruz just manhandled him. He couldn't do anything against him because Cruz is just the bigger guy. So I don't see his style transitioning up to the higher weight classes as well. When he's fighting guys his size, he's normally the better man. Against Cejudo, he just wasn't. Well, they'll pretty much equal
Cejudo
on that night. They were
did
pretty
look
much equal.
Cejudo did look a size bigger.
He did.
He did.
And I felt as though that's what ended up winning him the fight because when it came to the wrestling, he saw like holding him down. Like no one's been able to
Yes.
hold Demetrius down before. Even in their first fight,
Yes.
Cejudo wasn't able to hold him down. Took him down. Demetrius stood right back up and finished the fight. But Cejudo seems bigger in this fight than he had in previous fights. So
Yes.
yeah, no, that's that. So I want to see Cejudo defend his title. Who have we got? Who was
Rematch at flyweight. It has to be.
Nah, well, Demetrius is injured, so he said he reckons he's
Benavidez. He's
torn
lost
his
him.
LCL, and he's broken his foot, so he's out for at least 6 weeks on a broken bone.
Yeah, Benavidez. He's lost to Benavidez. So
Benavidez and Ray Borg are now fighting. That's already set up. And Pettis is the number 2 contender, and he's already beat Pettis.
he's already beat Pettis, so I don't see Pettis getting a title
Yeah.
shot. Ray Borg, if he wins the Benavidez fight, it's a tough matchup for him against Cejudo because Borg is basically someone who will take you down and control you, and that's not happening against Cejudo.
No, it's
It's
not.
like,
It's not. It's not.
yeah,
But if Benavidez wins, they've got a bit of a grudge there because it was a close fight in the first fight. I thought Cejudo won the first fight, but the judges gave it to Benavidez.
doesn't matter what you think. At the end of the day, official ranking and history is he lost
Exactly,
him.
but it's a second fight, and he gets to get a win back. Cejudo
Yes.
gets to get a win back. So that's if Benavidez can win the fight, which I think that's a winnable fight for him. I mean, Ray Borg is just like Henry Cejudo light. So
Yes.
if he can beat Henry Cejudo in a close fight, he should be able to beat Ray Borg. His movement should keep him away from the takedowns, and he's got decent wrestling himself. So yeah, I see Benavidez winning that, and if he can if he can have a decently quick turnover, have Cejudo fight Benavidez. Why not? And then after that, if Cejudo wins that fight, which I imagine he will in a 5-round fight, rematch Cejudo and Demetrius Johnson. Although that also does make it interesting. If Benavidez does win that creates a trilogy against Demetrius Johnson and gives Benavidez that opportunity to finally be able to beat Demetrius Johnson because he's lost to him twice, and it's the only way he's going to get another shot against Demetrius Johnson.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
So yeah, that's like the only real fun scenario that you could possibly have. So I can understand why you would want Cejudo to move up, but TJ's got so many guys to fight over there at bantamweight, so there's no point doing that. Just give Cejudo anyone. Give him Ben Ewan. Give him Moreno. Give him Tim Elliott.
Don't give him Ben Ewan.
Just give him someone to beat. But yeah, okay. So that's our opinions on that. Yeah, that's about it.
Alrighty.
Oh, good. Well, that was fun, man. Always love talking to you. We'll do
Pleasure.
this. We'll be doing this again. We don't have any, there's no fights. Well, there's no UFC fights for the next couple of weeks. So we will have a couple more videos coming out about like current events because there've been a few fights announced. We won't talk about them right now. We know what we're talking about. I'm sure anyone that listens knows what we're talking about. We'll get to them another time when Pretty Pete's back because at the moment he's sick in bed. He can't talk. But yeah, when he gets back, we'll have the 3-man team talking about it.
Perfect.
All right. Did you want to say anything?
I just want to say thank you. Thanks for everything. And please comment, like, subscribe. And if you comment to us, we'll reply. Thank you for watching and take care.
Yep. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, all that stuff. If you have if you want us to answer some silly questions, ask away and we'll answer some silly questions. All right. Well, thanks again. Peace out.
Okay. Bye-bye.